Ever since Joe Biden has taken over as the USA's head of state, there seems to be a growing and palpable sense of confidence with which leftists, liberals, and the Democrats are waging an all-out war against the country's right-wing and conservatives. Was it imaginable a few years ago that the world's oldest democracy would have conservatives specifically targeted for the medium of communication they use? Well, that is what seems to be happening in America right now, and literary agent Colleen O'Flynn of New York is the latest target. Colleen has been fired from her job at the Jennifer De Chiara literary agency. And her crime, you may ask? That she got onto social media platforms Parler and Gab, which American liberals and members of the thought police have grown a seething disgust for. In fact, the dystopian novel 1984 by George Orwell is most relevant now in the America of 2021, where not harboring a vile hatred for the right-wing ideology and conservatives can subject people to the tortures of the thought police. Colleen was unceremoniously sacked by her employer after a few left loonies on Twitter brought it to the notice of Jennifer De Chiara, president and senior agent of the literary agency, the abominable fact of one of her employees switching over to Parler and Gab. This, of course, was an intolerable revelation for Jennifer, who soon swung into action and fired Colleen. Then the president of the agency also took to Twitter to apologetically announce the same, while seeking pardons from outraged netizens who may have been quote-unquote affected or offended by her employee daring to get on social media platforms that promote and protect free speech of users. The intolerant employer of Colleen said, "The Jennifer De Chiara literary agency was distressed to discover this morning, January 25th, that one of our agents has been using the social media platforms Gab and Parler. We do not condone this activity. The Jennifer De Chiara literary agency has in the past and will continue to ensure a voice of unity, equality, and one that is on the side of social justice." What is being seen in the United States after the Capitol Hill siege particularly is apartheid and a genuine want to inflict genocide against the right-wing thought. Not only are conservatives being chased out of liberal social media platforms like Twitter and Instagram, but are also being hounded in their actual and non-digital lives for daring to shift to other platforms like Parler and Gab. And then not only are the conservatives being hounded by liberals and powerful Democrats, but the very platforms they are shifting to are being targeted. Take, for instance, the hounding of Parler, culminating with Amazon Web Services deplatforming the emerging social media platform. Not only was Parler deplatformed, but its CEO John Madsey Jr. and his family were forced to go into hiding after they reportedly received multiple threats, including ones to their lives. Parler's staff, including their families too, had been subjected to a spate of death threats, particularly after the Capitol Hill breach of January 6th. Rep. Carolyn Maloney, going a step further, had shot off a letter to the FBI asking the agency to investigate Parler for how dare any social media platform give a voice to the country's conservatives. Maloney also alleged that Parler had ties to the Kremlin and noted that the CEO is married to a Russian woman. Similarly, the Anti-Defamation League has been calling for the Department of Justice and the FBI to investigate Gab and its CEO over allegations that they may have, quote-unquote, intentionally aided, conspired with, or directed individuals who attacked the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. Under a Biden administration, the voices of conservatives are being stifled almost every day, and punitive action is being taken against those with a right-wing inclination. So much for Biden's supposed healing of the American nation. All that the Democrat rule is bringing for the country's conservatives is brazen censorship.